What's good, Whisper Nation? It is Monday, June 21st. That is another mock draft coming your way. This time we got a 10-team Dynasty startup half-point Superflex. Let's go.
Right here.
Johnny Game Time Hicks, Big Travie. How you guys
What's
doing?
up, boys?
Doing well. About to get our mock on, dude.
Now they're mocking around the Mockmish tree here with Whisper Nation, man. So stoked to have Captain Bob, Fred Beasy, Thomas Lab, Don Flick, Drew K. Lou, Jacob Bley, #1 fan, Reed Tyler, BroCal38, and Football Ninja all in the house with us. What's up, boys? Thanks for joining us. And you, Whisper Nation, if you didn't get a chance to join this mock draft, make sure you followed on Twitter. That's where Johnny is dropping the live links to get a part of our mock drafts. They're coming every single Monday, 12:05 Pacific time. And catch all this stuff actually just by joining the Discord channel, which I know we can get that dropped in the link. That will not only give you access to the mock draft links, but all the other content and conversations that's coming out of the Fantasy Whispers. Johnny, did I get that one right? Anything else that we'd like to let Whisper Nation know?
No, that sounds like you hit it on the head right there.
Right on, man. And a couple other things to note while I got your attention here. 10 days left on the pre-sale for the draft kit. Johnny has been going crazy, getting all of the T's crossed, I's dotted, and all the stats up to date to give you the advantage coming into your actual draft. So be sure to buy the pre-sale draft kit. Right now, it's just $10. 10 days left on that. You can log over to thefantasywhispers.com to pick that one up. But another way to get yourself helpful is to join along with our mock drafts and to listen to the commentary and drop us questions in the YouTube link. Isn't that right, Johnny?
Yeah, look at this. We got Jay the Plug over here. Simon saying, "Let's go." Donnie's been in here every week for like the last month. This guy's been awesome. Good guy to keep up the chat. Look at this.
Brett Johnson.
Draft
yeah,
best part of the day.
Yeah. So
we're all looking great. That's nice.
Ooh,
Nice. I appreciate that, Brett.
I don't feel great. I'll be, but I appreciate the uptick there in confidence, Brett.
You're good with the lighting now, man. Though you hide all of your blemishes pretty well.
Well, I appreciate that. I try my best. I look like, I get off camera and it's like, that age app.
Yeah.
It's like that age app, like I just instantly gained like 30 years. People unrecognizable.
You're like Melisandre in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, exactly.
When you take the necklace off, you age like 1,000 years.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Real saggy.
He's got a thing for young kings at the same time.
Yeah, that king is.
And that's why you got to catch to find out who this year's young king is going to be. Johnny has a very personal investment in that, and he's going to no spared expense to find you all of those draft nuggets coming up here.
I'm going to pop the draft kit link in the chat, but as Austin said, only 10 more days to get that draft kit. So please get on over to thefantasywhispers.com. Look, you're going to buy it anyways. You might as well get it for $10, $5 off, right, guys?
It's a one-stop shop. It's everything you're going to need. But before that, we got more mock drafts coming up here now.
Yes.
And like we said before, we got a 10-team Dynasty startup. It's a half-point PPR Superflex mock draft. Always make sure you know the rules of the draft before you're going into it. Seems common sense. Unfortunately, it's not as commonly practiced as I'd like to see. But make sure you always catch the rules. That's the ones for today. We're going to be drafting in the 6th spot. Whisper Nation, you got questions? Make sure to hit us up in the chat. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We all got them going to a central source right now. So ask away, and we will do our best to get to all of the questions by the time the show is over.
Travis, ready?
Anything before we get this bad boy going?
Well, let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
Mock
and roll.
Boom, here we go. I like that they put the start button. Shout out to Sleeper. They put out the start button on the top. I just click it now. It just graphically pleasing.
It works well for the production.
Yeah.
And also a big shout out to Sleeper. I know they're doing constant innovative work, kind of the newcomers here in the fantasy platform game, and they've just given us so many goodies to enjoy. I know our league of record, which is going into year 11, Johnny and Travis, finally made the decision to switch over from our original platform we launched back in 2010 on NFL.com, and Sleeper is now allowing previous data from other leagues to come if you integrate your league into their Sleeper platform. And we made the bylaws decision to move to Sleeper this year. And I'm excited to see what that transition is going to look like.
It's wild technology these days, like I said on the show a couple months ago, back in Russia, they were putting, pigs' hearts and humans.
And now we're going to.
It didn't work out, but the people died, but it's crazy that we're trying that stuff,
Pigs' hearts in humans, and I swear sometimes pigs' brains in humans too when you see the draft selections that get made. But that's what we want to hear to make the best draft selections. And I'm looking here at Captain Bob 101 takes Kyler Murray, Johnny.
Yeah,
personally, I love it. I know you got that card shirt on right now too. How do you feel about taking Kyler Murray 1-1 in a Superflex startup?
I like it. I think that I don't think we've seen the ceiling of Kyler. Statting him out and seeing, what Cliff Kingsbury is looking to do. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch Kyler Murray, especially in his third year, and with a really spread out offense. It's going to be fun to see what he can do, and he has that rushing upside. I think that there is no question or any doubt in my mind that Kyler Murray is one of those guys that can finish as the QB1. And I have said I do. Oh, go ahead, Travis.
We had Austin matriculating the coffee out of the pot.
Yeah,
there. I think that's how Kyler matriculates the ball down the field. But realistically, Ian Harditz, shout out to Ian Harditz. He's PFF guy. He's going to be joining us for the mock draft marathon. Just secured that this weekend.
Mock draft marathon, end of July, right, Travis?
Yeah, that's right. The 24th and the 25th, or the 23rd and the 20. It's the weekend. It's that weekend. You'll be here.
Yeah. Saturday to Sunday.
There's Saturday to Sunday. So there's top 5 finishes, right, in the as a QB1 in fantasy football. Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott. I'm sorry, points per game wise. Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, and Mike Vick are the top 5 in their points per game. So 2020 Dak Prescott was number 2. That's interesting to note. But Kyler Murray was 29.3, was better, 2 points better than all of them in weeks 1 through 10 pre-shoulder injury last year. And so that's what we need to look at here is how good he was before the injury and how good he could be in another year in Cliff's offense and another year where they actually have the wide receivers they want. So that would be a situation we need to look at here.
Travis, do you want Christian McCaffrey or do you want Dak or Herbert?
Let's go Dak. I really like going early QB here.
All right, there you go.
Now, that was the question I wanted to ask here, because I would have gone CMC on this one just because we have 4 other quarterbacks taken above us. Do we think that Dak Prescott is deservedly in that same tier and it's just a mixed match? Maybe we say Patrick Mahomes is number 1, but after that, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, take your choice. And so we're just in that tier and it doesn't really matter. Or is this is Prescott in a different tier? How did you evaluate that one, Travi?
So really, I want to get us in a team. I want to get us stacked at quarterback, and then especially in a dynasty startup, I want the longest career lengths to be the biggest. The guys we're drafting first for the most part. So realistically, when I'm building a dynasty startup, especially in a Superflex, QBs and wide receivers early. That's the guys we're probably going to try and hit early. We can scoop up some running backs and then get in on the rookie running back drafts over the next couple of years. We don't need to go so heavy in running back because that career length is just, it's very short. And so Dak is now tied to CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott, all guys under contract for a considerable amount of time and a considerable amount of money in an offense that looks like it's going to continue to throw, and just be one of the tops in the league. So if anybody can get up there and touch that ceiling of Pat Mahomes and Kyler Murray, it's definitely a Dak Prescott who, I was talking about the top 5 points per game. Dak last year was number 2 all time in points per game.
All time.
That's a great selling point right there with it. And I think last year showed us what Dak is, 1, capable of, and 2, what I think they're going to kind of rely on him being. I see similar narratives that we've seen with Russell Wilson continuing to carry forward with Dak Prescott. And what I mean by that is Russell Wilson's never had a line. Russell Wilson has always had to scramble and make plays happen based on his God-given and developed abilities. And we keep saying, Seattle, get this man a line, and they don't. They choose to keep getting another wide receiver. And I feel like the Cowboys are going to go down a similar route with Jerry Jones. It's like, Dak, we know we need to get him a defense. We know we might need to bolster up other areas of the roster, but it's Jerry Jones, and he's like, keep it sexy, baby. Let's go. Let's draft CeeDee Lamb. We've already got 2 wide receiver ones. Defense, we got Dak Prescott and 3 great wide receivers. Let's just outscore them, and it's like, that's almost what they want. So I don't really have a lot of hesitancy. And if you think that he's going to recover from that injury, and I think that it's an ankle, it's a quarterback, He's fast, but he's not reliant on it. Let it fly, baby. 5,000 yards ahead.
Jerry Jones owns probably, I believe, the most valuable professional sports team, or at least the most valuable NFL team.
Yeah.
And look, defense wins championships, but offense sells tickets. And that's what they're doing in Dallas right now, is selling a lot of tickets to that 90,000 plus stadium they got rocking down there.
Now, I'm going to ask here, we're jumping into this. Do we want, you said we talked about quarterback early. Are we looking for an anchor position here because we've got our guy in Prescott, or do we want to just double up on another good young quarterback here like a Trevor Lawrence, who could be insane, or a Jalen Hurts? Or do we take a look at some of those really young, really good running backs or wide receivers that are still available here? What are you thinking, Johnny?
Travis wants to do the 2 quarterbacks early. And
I'd be tempted to wait if we want to hit a wide receiver here that we really like too, and we could wait another round on QB. But Jalen Hurts is sitting right there. I like Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, DK. All 3 of those very, very tempting.
Yeah, I like taking AJ Brown here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You won't, dude.
You won't. I like his prototypical build. I think he'll last a long time. I think
the cut of his jib.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
I'm even down with that. Like this year, I think Justin Jefferson might have the edge over AJ Brown, but long term, I think AJ Brown's physicalities, role, everything he's cooking with is going to lead to a more successful career fantasy wise long term.
Yeah. And it's just like the finesse wide receivers, they tend to worry me a little bit long term. I'm not saying that I think Justin Jefferson is only a finesse type of wide receiver. I don't think so, but he's not built like a DK or frankly AJ.
Is
Brown.
Anybody?
Yeah, well, AJ Brown is kind of built like DK a little bit. I mean, they probably have
it's just hidden under a bunch of fat right now. But once I get that off, I'll look like DK. Yeah.
Didn't DK have like something ridiculous, like 4% body fat or something like that at one point?
He's going to be down. He's going to definitely be flirting with like around the 5-6% on this one. Did you see his qualifying times in the Olympics for the sprinting category?
It was a little disappointing, but
I mean, yes and no. But like, let's give sprinters credit.
Let's mess around. Let's mess around and have DK just on his like off day go ahead and qualify or get close to qualifying. Here.
He didn't qualify. He got close. He finished 7th in his heat. But it was respectable. And I saw a lot of the sprinter world commenting on his performance. And it was like, this guy didn't have any sprinting training at all. If he did for a season, like feel good knowing he'd probably have been in that spot.
We've got 16 watching here, and we've got only 7 likes over on YouTube. Get those likes up if you can. Help us out. Match the numbers there. And then if you're watching on any other platform, give us a share. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know where you're watching from. We appreciate you being in here with us.
And let us know what you like to do here on your dynasty picks here.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking strategy. Yeah, exactly, Austin. We were talking strategy earlier on what you do in a Superflex dynasty startup. Let us know what your strategy is here.
So here we are. We got our anchor. We got our quarterback. We got our great wide receiver. Now, do we have any other big named wide receivers, or is there also a potential running back or quarterback we want to hold on to?
We have some really interesting wide receivers here. Hopkins, Ridley, CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin, Jamar Chase, Michael Thomas.
Ridley is popping off the
Ridley's screaming at me, but really quick on the running back side, who's there?
We got Zeke, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, CH, Antonio Gibson, Joe Mixon. We've got some nice.
Yeah, I think we've got time on RB.
Yeah,
so I still think we have time on running back.
And Travis Kelce is still
George Kittle.
Or George Kittle or Waller.
I kind of like the Calvin Ridley, just so meaty and elite. But that's
we'll go Calvin.
I'm
Ridley.
in on that.
Yeah.
Let's just hang it down. Like Calvin Ridley, man, last year showed us what he was able to do when he was the number 1 on the team. And that was near 1,400 yards with a Julio Jones still playing well on the squad. I was a Calvin Ridley hater myself because the man had literally never broken 900 yards until his 3rd season. Everyone was calling the breakout, and that man broke out for 1,374 yards, 15.27 yards per catch. And he's only getting better. The man is 26 years old. I like what he's about this season.
I do have some concerns about Calvin Ridley, but overall, I think he's going to be very, very good.
Yeah,
think
Ridley's going to eat. There's no question about it. Like, it doesn't matter what happens with the offense. Ridley will be the number one. There's just too much. He would have to get hurt for him to not return value in my mind, just based on just grandfathered into.
I want to ask you guys a real question here. Like, this is a little bit of under the hood, peeking in the kimono here. As we're drafting as a 3-person team here. Is there another quarterback that we would look at that actually has the ceiling to be a shiner on your team that can help us win year one, but is also going to give us an exciting piece that we could move forward with? Because I want to win right now, guys. We got a team to do it. Dak Prescott's going to be a top 5 quarterback. A.J. Brown and Calvin Ridley could be both top 5 wide receivers. We got a team that can last. Everybody here is young, but we could actually take this championship year one out right now, guys. But like, who are we kind of thinking about in terms of that other position?
We can't say that at this very moment.
We can right now with Dak Prescott, AJ Brown, and Calvin Ridley stacking up.
Because if we say
because we got Bro Cal with no quarterbacks, we got some other people here.
If we say a guy, then I know what guy that Travis is thinking, and I'm thinking the same thing. I'll type it here. Here's what I was going to do. We'll tease it. Okay, Whisper Nation, you hang around and we'll take, because I know that my guys are going to be down with this pick, and then we'll tell you guys later on in the show. But it's going to be a pick that I think a lot of people should actually really start looking into, not only for Dynasty, but really specifically redraft leagues this year.
All right,
I'm typing it in now. I'm typing in the private chat now.
Ryan Tannehill is the name he's typing in the private chat. Really? That's the name we want to go ahead. I will not be stoked of taking a Ryan Tannehill in the 4th round. No. We should have been talking about Jalen Hurts.
I'm not saying I didn't say in the 4th round. We're not going to go quarterback in the 4th round. He was going to wait. He was going to be available in the 5th or maybe the 6th, but now we can't play that.
That's okay.
Unbelievable.
That's okay. Who's on the quarterback side that we would be actually considering we're trying to show the insights on what we're thinking on there? I know we like the Jalen Hurts. Are we still feeling Jalen Hurts? I know that we're not able to draft him now, but is Jalen Hurts somebody that fantasy managers should be targeting as a still somewhat slept on fantasy boomer?
Oh, absolutely. Jalen Hurts has the Konami code in the rushing ability, which is anything you want in a fantasy quarterback. And he's a guy that had great college production and a guy that had top 10 upside in the games that he played last year. Look,
Justin Fields.
We're
up right now.
We like Justin Fields, Trey Lance. All these guys are definitely guys you want to take a look at for upside and future
Waller
and Dynasty.
Waller.
I'm out on the tight end. That's not for me.
Or Terry McLaurin. Michael Thomas is available, and then Ezekiel Elliott is still available.
What about
DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson? You want Antonio Gibson?
I'd be down for Gibson.
I like Gibson. I think Gibson's a real RB1 in his second year and a team that projects to have him do well for the long haul. We got ourselves a scary running back in the 4th round who's young and is good.
I do think that, I love Gibson, but I think Travis is right. We probably could have waited a little longer on running back, but that's all right. We're good. We'll weigh it out.
Maybe waiting I don't think you're going to be able to snag a bell cow much later.
What's up, Jacob Bley?
There's an argument to be made that McKissick still exists. There's still a trap door there for
that's true.
Gibson.
That's true.
Look, I am assuming rational coaching, and in redraft, I'm drafting Gibson as a bell cow, and I believe Gibson is a bell cow.
And a bell cow might be an exaggeration. We might be fully done with
I do think that McKissick is really good at doing that one role, and I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to. He carves into him even this year. That wouldn't shock me at the end of the year if that.
So maybe we should stop calling a top 10 back. A heavily used top 10 back is what I projected.
Next year's first rounder. Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
I think that's where Gibson's going to end up. That's where I hope.
What is wild is everywhere McKissick goes, he just garners 10% receiving market share. Every year. It's wild. He'll be the running back 4, but he still gets on every team. He'll get 10% receiving share, just like clockwork. It's wild.
So I wanted to ask again, we mentioned about Jalen Hurts and the Konami code that he brings to the table. How do we feel about Justin Fields? Jalen Hurts gave us 4 or 5 solid looking games where we got to basically try to make shift of what he's about. Justin Fields hasn't given us anything yet, but his college film is what it is. How do we feel about his year one prospects coming in? How do you talked about Jalen Hurts, Big Travie. How do you feel about Justin Fields in comparison?
Yeah, I like Justin Fields is the same situation for upside. The difference is, as you said, Jalen Hurts gave us some tape, gave us something in the NFL to show us that he could be top 10. Justin Fields has not taken and I think Nagy's getting cute, saying that, there's no scenario in which Fields starts week one. Well, it could be very much like Deshaun Watson, where they saw Tom Savage for a quarter and then they went to Deshaun Watson week one. So I could definitely see a situation where it turns over really quickly, and it should most likely, because Andy Dalton is not the Pro Bowl quarterback that he was back in Cincinnati. Fields' upside is very similar to Hurts. They're both smart runners. They ran in college when they needed to. They didn't have to, though, a lot, but they have it there and it's available. And I think Fields is a guy that, yes, you could talk about mechanics.
Really quick, Travie. Just because we're on the clock. Yeah. Really quick, just because we're on the clock here, 45 seconds. Who are we thinking right now?
Let me see. I would be down.
We got
what do we have at wide receiver?
Chris Godwin. DJ. We have
Robinson, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen. These are all nice names.
Mike Evans. I think that
Mike Evans.
Yeah, I think that Mike Evans is who I'd want out of here. True alpha, just continues to dominate. Second year he's definitely more of a win now guy, but we have the youth and the other two wide receivers.
And when he's still I'm not concerned about Mike Evans's age on his side. I'm a little bit more worried about his quarterback's age, even Brady, if it's Tom. Yeah. He's shown us multiple quarterbacks. Mike Evans balled out with Jameis Winston. He did pretty well with Tom Brady. Last year, Tom Brady said he wants to make him a living legend. I think Mike Evans has a better year this year than he does last year, but are we concerned at all about Tom Brady and the rest of the offense in terms of Mike Evans? I'm assuming that's why he's still available in the 5th round, even though he's only 27 years old. But is that what's holding back the hype on Mike Evans?
Yeah, just a little bit. Obviously, in Dynasty, that's what's pushing them down here. They're probably tied to Brady, but who knows what can happen between now and when Brady's ready to call it quits. I'll ride the 2 to 3 years of value that you're going to get as your wide receiver 3 being Mike Evans, tied to Tom Brady, especially the way they use him as the goal line back in Tampa. I mean, this is the guy they just toss it up to every time they're down in the red zone.
So we saw Javonte Williams taken, running back for Denver, another rookie. Najee Harris, who is the first and should be running back off the board, was taken early 2nd round. How do you guys feel about Dynasty startups and rookie selections, specifically at the running back spot? Because that's usually the most valuable rookie, because they come in and they're productive right away. And then they got a longer shelf life. But how do you guys kind of feel about that this year? Johnny, it's Najee Harris and Javonte Williams are really kind of like the only two that are slotted to have big impacts right away. Do you see it differently?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much right. You might get Trey Sermon up in here in a couple rounds as a guy that people project. He's definitely, the hype is there for Sermon right now, just as like with Jeff Wilson's injury and some of the things with Mostert's, lack of money. But yeah, I think that's fair. Michael Carter may sneak up in the next couple rounds as well. I think that it's very similar to a rookie draft in the way that you're drafting them, only you're, obviously shoving all these other players in. But yeah, I think, Najee Harris and Javonte Williams are really the ones that you're like, and really only Najee Harris is the one you can bank.
Because there's because you still got Marvin, you still got Melvin Gordon.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. And Melvin Gordon, I think, will fall off based on some of the beat writers are saying Melvin Gordon's been a no-show and Javonte Williams has impressed big time. And so they think that the changing of the guard is happening in Denver, but we see this all the time. We see this all the time where a couple beat writers like a guy, and then all of a sudden the coach comes in there and goes, no, the veteran's starting. Like, this is the guy that's going to start and continue to do it. So we'll see. They still owe some money this year to Melvin. That it's easier for them to get out next year on the contract. So they might just run him into the ground a little bit, get Javonte some skill or some training and stuff. So we'll see what happens there.
I mean, to be callous, if I'm calling the shots for Denver, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking Melvin Gordon. He's a 6'2", big-bodied, still youthful, still got gas in the tank running back who is on a ending contract, and you're probably not re-signing him, but both of you want to see what you can get all the way. He still wants another deal, an opportunity to shine. Denver wants to make impressive plays and win games. Give that man 20 touches a game and take him till he can't take it no more, or until he shows he can carry the load all the way. And then, why not?
That's well said. I think exactly what they'll try to do here. And remember, like Denver was more of a committee than we like to think last year between Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon was definitely a guy that, shocked people. I shouldn't say shocked people, but was better than you think he was productivity wise. But that was more of a split that we saw. And I think Javonte is going to fill nicely into a Philip Lindsay role. And I love Philip Lindsay for what he did in his story. But Javonte Williams has shown on tape in college to be a much more elusive and explosive back.
I'm so sorry, Johnny.
That's on you. No, that you're not sorry. You are absolutely not sorry. That I knew that was going to happen. I knew it.
Well, what do we have left at QB? Anything there?
you go.
Garbage. That's what we have.
Hold on. I like Baker this year. I like Tom. If we're talking a second, I like
not as much as Ryan Tannehill. This is unbelievable. I knew this was going to happen.
Well, I think Fields is a nice pick here.
I think Fields is a nice pick long term. Tua is a nice pick long term. I'm down chilling on either one if they're back on the other side. Is there anybody juicy we want?
I would say Fields has the upside for me. That's why I'd pick him. But I also like Dave Montgomery sitting there, Johnny, too.
Montgomery, you know I love my running backs. I still see him as a youthful spring chicken.
Let's go David Montgomery here.
Look how scary our starting lineup is getting, yo. Antonio Gibson and Montgomery as our 2 starting running back with A.J. Brown, Calvin Ridley, and Mike Evans. This is good in redraft, let alone in Dynasty startup. This is nice.
So what would be interesting here to see if it can pan out for us, Johnny, if we do get one of the younger QBs that we have concerns with, let's say it's Fields or Lance coming around this next time, we might have to hedge our bet and get a, week 1 through 4 starter. So we pick up a third QB here to kind of, hedge that bet because maybe Fields or Lance doesn't see the field until week 4, week 5 or something like that.
Can we air this one out a little bit? Like just to talk strategy a little bit in front of what it is? Because there's a couple of options we could go, right? Like I know we want another long-term young upside quarterback. We also want to win games. Like year 1 counts in Dynasty as well, just as much as year 4 counts. So maybe we do have a less attractive Dynasty pickup because they're older, but they're still getting it done. Like who is available right now?
I don't like leaving upside, rushing quarterback upside on the board when it's there.
Like with that Justin Fields, maybe for
the sake of getting a statue this year to win games. But that's just my personal preference or strategy on it. If I'm going to go quarterback in these middle rounds, I want it to be a guy. I'm going to swing for the fences on this guy.
So Justin Fields is kind of your preference because we know the throwing arm, we know the concerns, but the upside is like that Jalen Hurts small sample size that we got. Right. It is that impressive one. So, hey, we've already got a pretty stacked roster. Even if Fields flops and Dalton ends up being the starter for more games than he isn't, weirder things have happened, we're okay.
Right, exactly.
So we're keeping our fingers crossed.
I just want to swing. I want to swing for it all. Like I want to break fantasy football by this pick. We got Dak and maybe a Fields rocket, and then by week 2, we got the pure rushing upside of Fields, and he's just peppering Allen Robinson.
Or year 2.
And then you've got, exactly. And then you've got Dak slinging it all over the field like he does. So
do you agree with that, Johnny? Is that like, do you like to see an upside big player? Do you not feel the same way about Justin Fields?
I mean, I just wouldn't take him here. I just think that there's so much value that I would rather have.
Well, there we go. We don't even get a chump. I guess you're speaking truth.
Yeah.
My pick was Brandon Ayuk after that. That was the upside one I like. So then, Johnny, who is here on that? Who gives you that most upside if we're still trying to break fantasy football, as Travis is saying?
Would have been nice.
Those are nice 1, 2, 3 picks. Fields, Ayuk, Andrews. Other people trying to break fantasy football too.
Let's say we got Kenny G, Jerry Jeudy, Cooper Kupp, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, all available from the wide receiver position. There's not maybe Michael Carter. I don't think we get a running back here. I don't.
Sermon, to Travis' point, would be if we're going for a longer one.
If you'd rather wait on QB here another round, Johnny, then I'd vote for Chase Claypool here. Just going pure upside, deep threat, big bodied guy. Just showed us a lot of downfield. Real good upside.
Give me that. I mean,
if you want Kenny G here, though, too, Johnny, I wouldn't mind that either.
I wouldn't mind that either.
I like Kenny G. I'm gonna take.
Do you want him more, just as a pure alpha? Okay.
Yeah, and I just like that we have seen it before, or not to say we obviously Chase Claypool. We saw what he could do, but I do like the pairing of Danny Dimes with Kenny G, and I do think that he's going to be the number 1 for sure, and for the Giants. Whereas like Chase could be the number 1 for Pittsburgh, but I think we all expected it to be Deontay. And so I just think that there's a little bit more upside.
But you might.
I do.
It's at least a competition, right? Like Galladay's only real competition would be like Tooney, maybe. And I don't think anybody really expects
Shepard or Evan Ingram, who led the team in targets last year. I mean, there's options there. It's not.
But Galladay would have to disappoint.
Actually,
and the money that they paid Galladay means he will be the alpha. I'm not saying he will.
If Sterling Shepard outshines Galladay's not having a good year.
Well, you want to know something a little wild? So I was doing some. Oh no, did I freeze? Okay, cool. I was looking into this. Shepard actually, I don't think is going to. I think the 2 wide receiver sets are going to be Slayton and Galladay, and then Shepard is going to be like that slot guy, and then of course you got Evan Ingram there. So I do think it's going to be like I have downgraded Shepard. I did originally think Shepard would probably be the wide receiver 2 over there because he was like running the X, right? But yeah, it like beat reporters and some early indications are showing that, yeah, they're actually going to like be switching this up a little bit. And then you've also got, Kadarius Toney there. You've also got some other pieces coming back. So it'll be interesting what they do there in New York. But I really do like the tandem of Danny Dimes and Kenny G. I think it's going to be awesome.
I can't wait, and I hope that it is. And there's a lot of other win now wide receivers that are available. And I'm not even looking at that from our own drafting standpoint, more from a drafting overall perspective, Whisper Nation, and looking at how many incredible players are still available this late. Julio Jones was just taken in the 8th round. Not a great long-term option, but if you're trying to win right now, like you like to see that still available.
Oh, yeah, that's not any paired him with Ryan Tannehill, which is what I wanted to do with, I get okay. So who are we taking here? Brown there,
who are we taking out right now in our 8th round selection with 37 seconds on the clock? You want to go running wide or quarterback now to get our second one, or is there still somebody with some juice that's left over? Claypool was taken. Who was our other possible?
Let's see. We've got Travis.
A running back. I like Chase Edmonds there more than the rookies right now. I know that they could easily move on from Chase next year, but the upside is that if Chase becomes the guy, then we've got him, and he's been very, very elusive at the position.
You want Trey or do you want
people forget how much they use running back at receiver in the Cliff offense?
All right, well, you got it. That is very true, actually, Travis. That's a great point. Also, they run.
So
the ball
I just want to.
top 5.
We could look at quarterback real quick.
So I have a game plan, or I want to text you what my idea is for quarterback now. But
so I just want to show that now that we haven't taken Fields or Lance, we are not. There's not really much left by way of, mobile quarterback here. So we would be stuck with, and maybe we get on the quarterback spree in the rookie draft next year or in the years to come.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just in this startup. I just wanted to show, for the sake of Kenny G, who would not be starting necessarily for us in the next couple of years, maybe he would be starting in spurts. We passed on maybe a potential, league winning quarterback week to week. So that's the only concern I have when we wait on some of these upstart guys.
Quarterback for me that's still available really late that I'm pretty high on this year is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is a young quarterback with good skill sets who at the end of last year was seriously cooking, and he should have his greatest set of weapons and the greatest competency of an NFL offense since he's entered the league. This is the guy who set the record for touchdowns thrown his rookie season, beating Peyton Manning's rookie record. And I think he's got a better head on his shoulders right now, along with a better roster and a more stable coaching situation than he's literally ever had. And didn't he finish the year on a run?
Yeah, and they're a very low volume passing attack, and he's not a rushing upside quarterback.
Sure.
So they run the ball, and if everything's clicking for them.
So is Ryan Tannehill, though, right?
Ryan Tannehill
runs.
Yeah,
Ryan Tannehill is one of the league leaders in rushing upside.
His finger roll.
Yeah, he gets a lot of rushing.
They call him the white Lamar Jackson, is what I hear. So that's what they call him.
The beat reporters, or
who is they?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is no they. Just remember that.
People are saying.
Yeah, I mean, Tannehill has numbers comparable to Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers over the last 2 years. Yeah. Baker Mayfield does not.
That like Alex Smith sneaky rushing.
Yeah,
like that 400 or 500 yards
and pushes the ball downfield way more than Alex Smith did. I know he did it in his last year with Kansas City, but Tannehill is a guy that pushes the ball down the field, has loaded wide receiver. I mean, it's just a difference in situation. Now, with OBJ back and with the second year in this offense, I think Baker has more of a ceiling. I just don't know that ceiling is comparable to some of the guys with the rushing upside based on what he can do. So, but yeah, I mean, I like him more than like a Carson Wentz or some other guys going in that
I just
area.
think he deserves a little bit more pop. The dude is still really young. We don't totally know what he's about, but we've seen a high ceiling from him.
I do like Baker as a quarterback, but he's like a more sexy Kirk Cousins. That's exactly what he is because of the passing opportunity, like Travis was stating.
And Kirk Cousins has been a top 10 fantasy quarterback pretty much his whole career. So
yeah,
it's not out of the question to like that.
I'm just saying it's a late round viable option. Other late round viable options, maybe because Baker Mayfield was taking the pick before us by Drew K. Lou. Must be listening in. Smart man there. Do we think GJ Shark is a real option, or are we steering away? Chenault was getting a lot of love. So we know we got a top option for Trevor Lawrence. Is one of those guys most likely. Or is there another running back here we're still trying to pick up?
What are we thinking?
I would be fine with going quarterback here. I would be fine with going.
I'd be fine with Tua if that's who you were looking at.
What do we have at tight end?
Make your pick, Johnny. It's all you.
No.
And we're done.
Got
him.
All right. We'll do Tua.
I like that. It's a win now piece. It could grow into something special. If it busts, it's the 9th round. It's not everything.
We'll see. I mean, he's going to get every chance this year. They loaded up that offense, at least at the wide receiver position.
Were you grimacing on that pick? Were you not really feeling it, Travi?
I just don't. Miami has been very weird in what they say about Tua. They saw him for a full year and they still think that he's may not be the guy. They loaded up on offense and now they're going to try and make him the guy. He's got all these reports of him throwing a bunch of interceptions. Now I know Patrick Mahomes threw a bunch of interceptions in practice. That's the whole. Everybody says that when you say Tua threw interceptions. I think Tua's going to be fine. He's a very accurate quarterback. That's what you need at this level. He's a very accurate quarterback. He wasn't accurate last year, but he was also coming back from a horrific hip injury. And now he's saying in the media that he feels 100 times better and that he's feeling so much better. And they've loaded up the offense. So we'll see. I want to see him push the ball down the field to Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle. Like he's got those guys now. Let's see it.
And Devontae Parker who's still no slouch. I mean, you'd love him to be the 3rd option. That'd be awesome over there. And Gesicki over there too. Johnny has been so on it with terms of Tua and where they're at. I really trust his decision-making if he felt good taking Tua at that spot. But Travis, I wanted to highlight just a quick point that you made there for trying to look in the psychology of the Miami Dolphins decision-makers. Last year, when they sat Fitzpatrick, who was leading the Dolphins to a playoff bid, was sat for Tua. You remember how dramatic that was when he's like, I thought this was my run. I thought this was my team. And then I'm in Zoom meetings with the guy who just basically took my job, listening to the guy who gave him my job. Tua, though, got the role not because they thought he gave them the best chance to get to the playoffs. It's because they wanted to see what they had in him going into a pretty stacked quarterback draft class, knowing if they needed to make a move or not. Was Tua their future or was he not? And they weren't confident. And so they weren't giving him the keys. They were giving him a shot. And they spent a lot of draft capital on him the year before. And if you're still feeling not confident, I'm not going to say one season just did it for him. Like, I think he did pretty well, but it seems like they need to have something else in the Miami front office. And I don't know if he's gotten it yet. So I think he raised some good points in terms of that confidence. I think he got it, but
reading a little bit of the tea leaves there. It was interesting if, like the Myles Gaskin comment about like, well, he came out and he was just like, somebody asked him about like, how, because he killed it last year, and they're like, you're expecting a repeat again this year? Are you like the main, RB1? And he was just like, oh, the playbook's way different this year. Like, it's completely different. And so I do think that they didn't have the right pieces to run the offense that they truly wanted last year. And that's why you saw Tua be really inconsistent because they were running Mike Gesicki as the outside wide receiver because they didn't have very many other like consistent options. And, Parker was hurt. So I do think, like you said, like they were giving him, they wanted to see at least what he could pick up and what he could do if he was like, because they needed to do the Josh Rosen thing, potentially if they needed to. And then I think they saw enough. And yeah, I think he's going to be good.
I think he is too. But definitely a lot of teams.
They're completely changing offenses. That's why they've changed it, because they changed coordinators. Like they got rid of the guy that they had last year. So now they got these two dudes. They're going to do like forget their names here. I got it.
So who are we looking? Travis looking that one up.
The tag team in it.
Who are we thinking now here with our 10th round selection? Wide receiver. Is there another upside piece that we want to go in on? And maybe a young guy, a rookie wide receiver, a rookie running back. Our starting lineup is pretty decent, minus tight end.
Do you want to grab a tight end here, Travis? Or no?
We can wait on tight end.
All right.
15 seconds.
What are you liking, Travis? Mike Davis?
Yeah, let's get Mike Davis.
There we go. Starting RB.
There we go. Boom. Just like that.
And is there other people late now? Is there guys here? Maybe wide receiver is the right spot. Any young and up and comers? Bateman. That was a second round selection in rookie drafts this year. Ruggs, Travie, that's our boy. Gruden says he's going to get more involved in the offense.
I hope so.
Gosh darn, me too.
Yeah,
Adam Thielen's a win now piece.
Oh, dude, Adam Thielen.
Yeah,
but
I don't know
if he's around, but I bet he won't be.
I don't know if he'll be. I do like Terrace Marshall. Marshall a lot. Austin, you were talking about like the younger wide receivers looking to be in a good spot. Carolina always, they're trying to throw the ball out and push.
Yeah, I don't hate Michael Pittman either. What do you think? Injury concerns?
No, I do. I like the prospect of Michael Pittman. My concern is when you look at Indianapolis Colts as an offense, they generally do spread the ball around pretty evenly.
Paris Campbell, baby.
Yeah. So I like Paris Campbell, but what you notice when you're looking like at their offensive schemes and their breakdowns from year to year is they generally give pretty much all three of their wide receivers, between like 15 and 18% market share.
No big dog.
Yeah. So that's the only unfortunate part. And we've also seen like Carson Wentz has not really ever used.
Fair enough. Any other big dogs?
Yeah.
So we got any other big dogs here, Travis?
Donnie over here. I took Adam Thielen because I wanted to, not because you guys talked about him.
Bullshit.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we're calling you. I think, and hear me out here. I know this is a little crazy. I think Will Fuller is an interesting grab here. Will Fuller with Tua. We saw what Will Fuller did for Deshaun Watson. And if we're talking about upside here, and you guys are like, oh, Michael Pittman. Oh, like.
No, you're right, dude.
I don't know, like Rashad Bateman. How about Will Fuller, who like scored 50 points last year? Like, let's talk about points. Let's grab Will Fuller. That's just where I'm at down here. Like, we're swinging for the fences back here. That's all I want.
I'm down.
I want to like eat a big sandwich. I don't want something that's
Let's break it. We got 3 more picks left. Let's break fantasy.
I'm down with the sickness, dude.
You won't, dude.
You won't. Yeah. I think that I'm sorry for the hesitation in these other guys, Travis.
The process is there. Trust the process. No, I get it. I just think it's fun to sit here and swing for something in Will Fuller here with Tua.
We know what Will Fuller's about.
Now you've got me excited about Tua is what I'm saying. I'm not excited about Tua, but if we get Will Fuller and we're stacking him with Tua, now I'm a little excited. Now I can.
Are we going Gesicki now too for our tight end?
Let's go Miami, baby. I'm all in. I'm wearing
this is
dude.
Let's this is Will Smith era now. Here we go.
Hey,
it's Miami, baby.
Stepmom Lauren invited us down to Florida. Let's go. We're a bunch of Florida men now.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Florida men.
I really want to. If anyone's been to Miami's stadium, do they play "Welcome to Miami" before every game? Like, they have to, right? Like,
do that. They should do that.
Yeah, they should for sure.
LA, we play California Love pretty much every game.
Or I Love LA. It's a good one that we play a lot too. When the Lakers win, but we haven't done that in a while, so guess we are not in it.
Yeah.
But shout out to the Suns. You boys are some Suns fans here.
Yeah,
right now.
Oh my god,
this is how we raise the roof
out. Yeah.
race.
Getting hot in the desert, man.
Oh yeah, it's been hot.
Oh boy, yeah, that was
All
sure
right,
was
what
fun.
are we thinking about tight end? Anything upstart here? Anything juicy that might turn into something? Late bloomer. I like.
I mean, the
I
Jonnu
like
Smith is exciting.
Tunyon.
Yes.
I like Tunyon.
I like Tunyon. I like Smith. I like Evan Ingram.
Yep.
I like Cole
Logan
Kmet.
Thomas. So we got some options here.
We
I
got a
think
ton of
some
options. I'm
these
really glad
guys-
we
I
didn't
like-
go early.
I like Higbee. Listen, I
We're
am.
listening.
I really, really wish we knew about. I mean, I know everyone does, but the Aaron Rodgers thing, because Tunyon is.
I was gonna. I'm a freaking Packers fan here. I'm wearing my dead aunt's hat of the Packers. I freaking love the Packers, but I am not sold on Robert Tunyon. I'm looking at it as a touchdown dependent option.
No, I'm telling you, so it's really funny. I got to give props to Travis. And this is one of the things that I really do enjoy about our job is the fact that we do talk to, obviously other analysts. We talk, within ourselves, and it's the ability to listen to an argument and then, and then also admit when you're wrong.
So what's the argument on Tunyon?
So it's insane. Like Tunyon over the last few years has literally increased his target market share by a significant. I did think he was just like a touchdown dependent guy, but if you look at just his target market share, it has been significantly increasing over the last 3 years. And last year he had 15% in that offense. And they didn't. I mean, they have Lazard who could potentially step up.
It's still Lazard. It's still Scantling. It's still MVS.
And if you look at what
St. Brown.
If you look at what Matt LaFleur does with that offense, he actually does like to use that tight end at like a 15% market share. And Tunyon, they love him there. So that's why I'm saying like it only there is
so
a little
many,
bit.
There's just so many arrows for Tunyon that are pointing.
And he's had the huge games too.
Yeah, look, tight end itself is one that is a late blooming position. Okay, guys end up you have to learn a lot as tight end. You have to block, you have to, pass block, run block, all those things, and then you go out for routes as well. Tunyon is a guy that Rodgers has called an ascending player. Then this year, Matt LaFleur came out and said, nobody has improved more as a player since I took over as coach than Robert Tunyon. I want to feature him in this offense, which, as Johnny said, he has done in the past. And if you look at when Aaron Rodgers doesn't use the tight end. Well, when Aaron Rodgers didn't use tight ends, he had guys like Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb. Jordy Nelson and James Jones, Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
He had all these guys that were with other wide receivers. It's only Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones catching balls. So if you've got Robert Tunyon in there now too, yeah, he's touchdown dependent, but I'll take a guy who he looks to in the red zone for Aaron Rodgers. And yes,
he's an actual piece.
Yes, to Johnny's points in Dynasty, we don't actually love Tunyon not being or knowing where Tunyon's going with Aaron Rodgers. But I think that I'm going to say it right now. I think Jordan Love is getting slept on and hated on just because he's Aaron Rodgers' backup.
Sure.
And I think that there's a mystery box there with Jordan Love. We have no idea if Jordan Love's good or not. We saw him climb up draft boards last year before the draft, and then he got drafted in Green Bay, and now everybody hates him. So I'm going to stick with what they said on the tape. He's raw. He's got a lot of upside, and we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. No, I think those are good takes. Well, we did see Tunyon go, making great points, fire on the beat. BroCal 38 agreed with you there. Is there another guy?
Johnny wants to go with Jonnu Smith here. I'm not sold on Jonnu Smith. I am. Ian Hartitz was talking about this. Bill Belichick basically said that nobody is better at tight end with his hand after the catch, with his ball in his hands. Nobody is better after the catch than Jonnu Smith, and that's Bill Belichick saying that. So,
and he's been good with tight ends in the past.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy, that could be very good.
I think they brought him in, and there now
we get the opportunity, Johnny, to grab somebody else at tight end too. Like, pair this with somebody else.
100%.
I'm getting big. I get big. Greg Olsen, the first year, he really popped off vibes with Jonnu Smith right now. And I'll give myself a little pat on the back and redraft. I picked Greg Olsen up 13th round of our league of record, and he was a top 3 tight end that year. And it was when Cam Newton didn't have any other options available to him, and he did have a relationship with Greg Olsen. We don't know who necessarily is going to be behind center for the Patriots, but regardless, we know Belichick likes to structure game plans, tight end focused, whether that's Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski, or just making weird players work, like a Julian Edelman or a Wes Welker, or pick a guy from
Danny
last
Woodhead.
year. Exactly. Jonnu Smith is talented. Jonnu Smith last year was hurt. Jonnu Smith is probably the most talented pass catcher they have on that team right now, and he was selected. Hunter Henry is there too, but Jonnu Smith looks like he's beating him out. And I'm happy to take the number one option in a Bill Belichick offense, especially from a guy that just last year we were praising his low-key physicals.
They
Was
will
this the last round?
No,
Dang.
there should be 2 more rounds after this, Travis.
Oh.
It just like I don't know why it does this. It just like will only show the 13th, but there should be 2 more rounds. I want to say with the Jonnu Smith thing as well, and the Hunter Henry, it should be a lot like the Gronk and Aaron Hernandez situation, where they run the 2 running backs, or sorry, 2 tight ends split. But Jonnu should be that Gronk one, the Gronk of the 2.
And Hunter Henry will be that Aaron Hernandez for going in the time machine.
Hopefully,
Not in terms of like murdering his
football
people,
only. Yeah, in football only.
Yeah, and
for sure. Most def.
Yeah. Murdering.
So I love that pick, dude. I think that's a breaker on this. I love our late round selections here. Are there any other guys that we should be kind of thinking about? And even if they get swooped up for just Whisper Nation's edification, are there players right now that are deep sleepers that really have the opportunity to change your team? Oh, I thought Ruggs is one of them. You know, I love this guy.
What do we got, Johnny? Would you go tight end here, or do you want to get that quarterback we were talking maybe earlier?
Yeah, I think we go. What tight end? Well, I don't know if you want to go quarterback?
We can wait again on tight end. Let's get Jameis here.
Yeah, that's I think that with the Tua, I think it will be okay. We'll be okay.
I do have some concerns. I started the offseason saying,
curds,
okay,
cheese curds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I started the offseason really kind of high on Jameis. Like, he should be the starter. I have no doubt about that. Like, he'll probably be the starter and he'll get that job. But I have concerns that this offense is not as good as we think it is. You know, Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas are there, but then what else? Not really anything else. And then you're going to have Jameis Winston, Traquan, who we've been calling the breakout for 3 years now? Like Traquan Smith.
Yeah, dude, we're calling for the Tony Parker breakout, baby.
The Devontae Parker again. Like, let's go. Let's go. Corey Davis, come on, please. So Traquan Smith, I don't know. We'll see. Adam Troutman, still don't know about him at tight end. There's just some questions on if this offense is as good as some of the offenses that Jameis had in Tampa Bay when he was putting up 4,000 yards and he was still throwing 30 picks. I think we could see a real bad season out of Jameis, and then therefore a real bad season out of the Saints because they have to turn to a guy like Taysom Hill, who is not a quarterback in my mind. So I could see a situation where this gets real ugly real fast in New Orleans. But I think Jameis has a shot here, and if anybody could kind of get Jameis on the right path offensively, it is a Sean Payton. But Bruce Arians, wasn't necessarily able to do it.
Bruce Arians, coach of the year, Super Bowl winning coach, was just one quarterback away from winning it all, and that quarterback he got rid of was Jameis Winston. The Saints had an opportunity. The Saints had an opportunity to plug and play a backup Jameis Winston into the starting role. They rejected that. They elected to put the gadget quarterback Taysom Hill in to start multiple games, which they had a winning record on the other side of. I don't know why whatever you had to develop Jameis Winston was insufficient last year that now will be sufficient for next year. I know we've seen him get 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, and he was shipped out of Tampa Bay quicker than you can freaking send an Amazon package. So if we think that he's going to be the real deal and Taysom Hill, for whatever reason, last year just had enough preparation that Jameis Winston just needed more time for, fine. But I'm not I get the pick, and I think it's a great selection this late because he could throw over 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. I'm just not surprised if the dude doesn't start a game next year.
Okay, here's the thing, though. All right, so you have to look into what the team was actually doing last year and why. So the
winning games.
The exact one thing, that's exactly right? We've seen Sean Payton, no matter who it is, Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater, or Taysom Hill, come in and win games. So to think that Jameis could not come in and not win games is a little surprising.
All three of those guys don't have turnover rates the way that Jameis does, and that's what loses games, Johnny.
Fair enough. Well, fair. All right, but here's the other thing. Like, you also look at, we act like Jameis Winston wasn't. Yes, did they win the championship without Winston, or when they shipped him out? Yeah, but
They made
Tom
the playoffs.
Brady. Hold on, I get that. Yes, I totally get that. But we're acting like this is fan. I don't care if they make the playoffs or not. Jameis Winston that year was a top 5 fantasy quarterback. That's all I care about.
And that coach got rid of him.
And he that's fine. And he still threw for 5,000 yards and was a top 5 fantasy quarterback.
Right, but it's not as if in those years they had somebody else consistent to go to. Actually, they did. When they did, it was Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then they turned to him.
And then
hold on. So Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill too much. Everybody knows it. Like, he loves him too much. There's a very short leash for Winston. That's all I'm saying. And I think that leash could easily be erased after 3 picks in one game, which, guess what, is something Jameis does all the time. So that's all I'm saying. I think the bottom falls out, but that's why we get him late. And then if, we bet on, as Johnny's saying, like, if Sean Payton's able to fix Jameis, cool. Then you've got a situation where you've got 5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns on a team that's, got some couple
minimum.
Is this a bad advice? Like,
wide receiver wise, tight end wise, they are not what Tampa was when Jameis was his most successful in fantasy. That's my concern right now. And Jameis has never been a guy to dump it off to his running back a ton, because he's had the wide receiver help. I'm not saying he can't do it, but he just hasn't been that guy. And that's how this offense has lived over the last 2 years. You run through Kamara and slant boy Michael Thomas, and that's just not been Jameis's style. So if they can meld the two, cool. But in
a super flex, is the starting quarterback for the Saints valuable regardless?
I mean, that's what I'm having concerns projecting right now. Johnny would know a little bit better. He's diving into the projections for the draft kit. If he thinks this offense can be a voluminous pass attack, if that's what Sean Payton
is Taysom Hill's other attributes cover for the lack of voluminous passing output?
And I think Johnny maybe will make this pick, and then you can add to it. But do we think it's going to be as cute as ever with Sean Payton? Like, does Sean Payton actually go dual quarterback more than he ever has? Because now he doesn't have to appeal to Drew Brees' ego, right? He can just go, I'll roll out Jameis on this drive and Taysom on the next. Like, is that how weird he gets?
What I want to ask right now while we're making our selection here, Johnny, do you think that we grab a win now player here, or is this grab a rookie for the future?
I don't. What would you guys like? We have some nice options here. We have Marquise Brown. We've got Cooks, who is like a win now. He's going to get 20% market share of that team, no matter who's quarterback. Devontae Parker, but we got at running back? Running back, we do have Mostert still.
Mostert,
yeah, I'd be down.
It's like a 1 year. Yeah, I'm fine with Mostert. He could, when he plays. Yeah, when he plays.
What I'm curious about now. Hey, what's up,
Alma Garcia? Darius Rice, Whisper Nation strong.
What's up, guys?
What I'm wondering right now, and this, if I was actually drafting, what I'd be looking at is just straight up rookies. Are there any juicy rookies that would be going in like the first 2 rounds of a rookie startup that are just kind of being slept on because people's rosters are so wide right now? Like, are there any good rookie running backs that are still available? We can click the rookies only button.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. There. Look at that. Look at Austin.
So Ramondre Stevenson sitting right there, of course. Ramondre
is probably my
that's going to be it as far as Javian Hawkins is that based on and Elijah Mitchell, even, but buried on a San Francisco depth chart.
Yeah, those would.
What about the wide receiver spot?
Let's see here.
And we still only have Jonnu Smith at tight end. I mean, I suppose we can wait.
Oh, yeah. I think we should probably grab. Yeah, let's grab another tight end. Nico Collins.
Unless Ramondre's there, I think.
Amari Rogers could, but maybe potentially get.
Amari Rogers is an interesting take. So it's like
Dynamic
Amari Rogers, Johnny, or Austin is kind of the counterpoint to the Tunyon. So if you're like Amari Rogers is what, that old Randall Cobb role, that slot guy, that speedy guy, then you say, okay, I might hedge my bet with Tunyon and go Amari Rogers here, as Amari Rogers could be a guy that's going to continue to be the second option.
Ramondre Stevenson is gone.
All right, let's go tight end here if we can get somebody that's got some juice.
Get your boy Noah Gray, Johnny.
Yeah.
Cole
Well,
Kmet, though, is kind of nice. A second-year player.
Komet
right?
could be something interesting there.
I do like Clement, and then I honestly, if we're talking like Jameis Winston and what he likes to do, Adam Troutman is a guy that people should be looking at. He's the tight end for the Saints, and we do know how much Jameis favors him. So he is someone that you should definitely look out for. Obviously, Zach Ertz is still here. Also, Gerald Everett with coming over from Seattle. Seattle generally with the offense, when you look at what they're bringing over, tends to go like 15 to 18% to the tight end.
I would just go the youth. I'd go shiny
Yeah,
youth. That's for me on the upside, but
yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
I think Komet's the guy to take
I do like
there.
Komet. I do like Komet. And so does your phone, dude. Is that
That's
Corey
Komet
Komet?
call, dude,
Yeah.
right
that's
now.
Komet, like that's the number.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
There
like,
you go, pick him up.
Got the call.
Oh, yeah, he's got the call. Corey Clement.
Yeah, we're gonna make
how do you want to come
part of
play
the Fantasy Whispers?
How do you like to come and play in the desert, huh?
Absolutely. So I like that pickup on the Komet. I think that's the tight end spot, especially because the rookies, it's so tough for them to perform.
I do like it. Appreciate everyone who is watching right now and tuning into this mock draft.
Yeah, man, we got the likes up. We got everybody rocking in here. We've had a good draft so far.
If you're having a good time over here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do so. Even after this goes live and it gets capped out, it still helps it connect with more fantasy football fans out in the world. And that's really just what we love doing so much. So make sure you like and subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and allow just Whisper Nation to keep connecting with other cool ass people.
Yeah, we're almost we're really close to getting. We just passed 1,500 the other day, and we're already almost to 1,550. We're like 20 short of that. So if you're watching this and we're under 1,550, please help us get to 1,550.
Greatly appreciate that. But boys, we're coming here to the end of the mock draft here. Well done for that one. And we're going to then do our draft grades, and we'll go ahead and break down. We've got 9 other people here, so each of us will take on 3 and pick then the winner of our 3 that we evaluate, and then Whisper Nation let us know of those 3 who won the mock draft. That's how we're doing it, right, Johnny?
Yeah. Do it.
All right.
Got one
Very cool.
Pick here by Football Ninja. There's a lot of there's a lot of good players still on the board, so I can understand why
so
he's
many
like,
here.
I know, but which is also, we should note, we only did 15 rounds. We only did 15 rounds in this, and typically a dynasty, especially a 10-teamer, will probably be like 25, 30 rounds maybe. But for the sake of time, we don't want to go on for 3 hours, drafting some of these late dart throws. But
listen, if you want to go on for 3 hours, you just join us. We're going to do 24 straight hours next month mocking, so you guys can come around for that.
Guys cannot be in there. Mock draft marathon. Get on board. Get ready for that for a full 24 hours.
Got a love for the marathon in the comments today. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
So excited for this one. We're done here now. Big Travie. I love the extra plugs coming in here, Jay, and it was so awesome to have you a part of the show. We got to do that last year. Can't wait to do it again.
Boom. All right.
I got to find the link here, but I'll get it up here in just a second.
So you're going to look for the link. Big Travie is going to go ahead and also take a stab at our first set of evaluations.
All right. So I have Captain Bob, Fred Beasy, and Tom Islov. Is it Tom Islov or Tommy Slav? Who knows? I will go ahead and stop with Captain Bob, who is Rob Shorter. Joins us over from England every week, just about. We appreciate you, Bob. Thanks for coming in here. So he went with the controversial Kyler Murray in the first round, then went Justin Jefferson, Cam Akers, and Jamar Chase. Then Matt Stafford with his second quarterback, which I don't mind. Dark Horse MVP futures bet on Matt Stafford is a good one right now. Kareem Hunt, Devonta Smith, followed by Irv Smith. Really into the Irv Smith hype right now is Captain Bob, but I'm not sure I'm buying that, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Damian Harris, then Curtis Samuel, followed by Darnell Mooney, and then James Conner, who could be a touchdown magnet for the Cardinals. If he takes over the Drake role, then he could be a guy that gets you goal line looks there. Kirk Cousins, we talked about him, perennial 10 top 10 QB every year. Denzel Mims and then Pat Freiermuth here. I think this team's solid. He's got some depth at RB, which I like. The wide receivers are young and upstart wide receivers. I mean, Jefferson broke out last year. You got Jamar Chase and then Devonta Smith. The only problem I have is it is such a young wide receiving core in a three. We are starting 3 wide receivers, right, Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
in
a
that
flex.
case, yeah. So in that case, you're banking on Chase and Smith kind of being what Jefferson was, or at least close to it last year, and that's a lot. Now I think Chase will get there, but Devonta Smith is a one. Like, will Philly throw enough? We have questions on. He's a smaller guy, things like that come up, and I don't know that you did enough depth wise in your wide receivers that I like to kind of replace that. So we'll see how that pans out. And then Irv Smith at tight end and Pat Freiermuth. These are some low volume tight ends you picked up here. And so if I'm going for upside on the tight end position, I want to go pure upside, guys that can get there. Irv Smith is not a guy volume wise that projects to be there. And then you had Zimmer come out and say, I don't think his role is going to change very much at all.
Such a weird update.
Yeah. It's like,
Love
okay,
it.
you just wanted to come out and shit on Irv Smith. That's not very nice, but okay. That's where I'm at with that. Your QBs, I love the upside in the QBs. I think the RB depth is there, but remember, Dynasty startup. And so heavily, I want your teams, at least in my opinion, to be focused more on young wide receivers, which you did do, and quarterbacks that can have the upside. So we'll see. You're the first one I'm grading, so we'll see how it goes here. Fred Beasley came in and just went ham at running back. Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler. Now, those are some fantastic running backs, but you can only start 3 of them, and you're probably only going to have them for 3 to 5 years, if that, Then we've got T. Higgins, Chris Carson. You're like, couldn't resist. You had to go for another running back in the 7th round here. Noah Fant, Jalen Waddle, Juju Smith-Schuster, and then Tom Brady, who was your only quarterback in a super flex. Not going to get it done for you. You could start somebody else in your super flex. I wouldn't suggest it. The points won't be there as much. Then Corey Davis, Robbie Anderson, Brandon Cooks. This team in a standard league in a redraft looking mighty fine. You'll be able to trade those out, and maybe you can trade some of these younger guys out, but we draft for your starting lineup here on TFW on these mock draft Mondays. All right, Tom Islav. So Captain Bob leading out of those 2 so far. Tom Islav started off with Pat Mahomes, and I think he got lucky here that Pat Mahomes was there at 3. Honestly, I think that was a nice steal. Tyreek Hill, the double dip, the stack here, looking very nasty. Stephon Diggs, then Ezekiel Elliott. Not bad to get Zeke in the 4th round. A lot of money still owed to Zeke on that contract. Very good offense to be a part of. And then Darren Waller, who I think we were looking at for a little bit. He got him there in the 5th, followed by Miles Sanders, Justin Fields. I'm loving this so far. Michael Carter, Cortland Sutton, and Zach Moss. This guy, Tom, was definitely drafting for my heart here because he got a lot of guys I really enjoy. Carson Wentz, I think, is a guy that, look, if it doesn't happen for Carson Wentz this year, he's definitely broken, obviously, but I think he's set up to be very successful this year, and can be very conservatively successful too. He might be very efficient this year, is what I'm getting at. So Tyler Boyd, then Devin Singletary to lock up that Buffalo backfield. Then Ryan Fitzpatrick, just to kind of hedge his bet, which I think is beautiful on both Fields and Wentz. You take a guy in Fitzpatrick who's probably going to start the whole year and could air it out easily. And then Jalen Reagor, just an upstart lottery ticket at the end here. Maybe the addition of Devonta Smith helps him. I love this team. This team wins out of the first 3 for me. Good at quarterback, very, very sexy wide receivers, and then depth at running back. I think this guy knocked it out. Well, and then Waller, of course, is the stud at tight end. This was a very, very good team, Tom.
Well done. Can we get a golf clap on this? Well done. This is probably, no lie, one of the all-time favorite mock draft teams I've ever seen. Kudos.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. All right, Austin, you're
Don
up, my
Flick
man.
here in the 1-4 spot. What's good, Donnie? He takes Josh Allen at the 4 spot. Love him for win now. Love him for future. Love him for just overall fantasy football enjoyment. Trevor Lawrence in the 2nd is a bit of a reach for me, given it's a rookie quarterback, but there's so much hype. If this is your boy, I think you're just stoked to pick him up. And I think he did a pretty good job balancing the rest of the squad out. So he didn't really lose too much from my perspective. I don't hate it because you got DK Metcalf as your number 1 wide receiver. Good for now, good for future. Let's stay with the wide receivers here in the 7th. You take Ayuk. I think good now, good for the future as well. Thielen, really good to win now. Rashad Bateman, you hope is good to win later. Mike Williams, we've talked a number of times about his sneaky ability, and every year we continually talk about that, but there really is reason to think that this year it's going to be on point as long as he can stay healthy. I like the wide receivers you got here. I like it as a floor. I like it as a ceiling. I like it as a win now. I like it as a win later. Let's take a look at the running backs here with DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, Trey Sermon, James Robinson, Kenyon Drake, Ramondre Stevenson. Interesting collection of running backs here. Pretty much all young, minus Drake. That's kind of your backup over there. Backup running back for Josh Jacobs, who might be eating into the main load, as we've talked a couple of times last week, specifically with stepmom Lauren, who feels the same way. DeAndre Swift, Johnny's boy, it should all be there. We'll just see how the Lions work it. Travis Etienne is such a talent. The concern is he going to be a gadget? Is he going to be a third down? Is he going to be a scat back? Is he going to be not used enough? Or is he going to be Alvin Kamara? We'll see. But you also went ahead and got James Robinson. So I love that stack. You got that running back. Whoever it is, you're big here in the Jaguars. It's kind of a fun situation to be in. We'll see how it pans out, but where we're at right now, it's certainly fun. And then Kyle Pitts, you got the best tight end prospect. Again, probably not going to win you right now. But then again, we haven't seen a talent like this in some time. They just got rid of Julio Jones. A lot of targets coming his way. This is a good team. Moving on. We got Drew K. Lou here, who takes Lamar Jackson, not too far away from his MVP run. We'll see what happens. A lot of commentary on Lamar Jackson. It's time to just see what he's about, I think, this year. We'll keep talking about it. It's going to be fun, but I'm just excited to see what the man actually does with a 17-game season. Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry, without even looking at the rest of the squad, I can't think anybody has a better 1-2 year one set of running backs than you do. Even if we don't know who's behind center for the Saints, Alvin Kamara is very special. As is Derrick Henry. And then let's look at your wide receivers. You took 3 of them in rounds 4 through 6 with Terry McLaurin, Michael Thomas, and Amari Cooper. Those are very nice wide receivers. There are some question marks there, but they're still really nice, even with those question marks. They look good. Mark Andrews, we were jelly. We wanted Mark Andrews in that spot. Deontay Johnson could be the lead dog for Pittsburgh for the foreseeable future with Big Ben and the next quarterback, whomever that may be. Baker Mayfield is your backup quarterback. I got nothing negative to say about that in round 9. Deebo Samuel, Johnny and I talked about how he could be that number 1. We like Ayuk, but Deebo Samuel's got a bulldog way about him. He could be very productive this year. Kenneth Gainwell is that newness over in Philadelphia, and they're talking about it not being a bell cow situation. Johnny's a big fan of him, the wide receiver spot rookie. Ruggs, me and Travi are big fans of him coming in this year. Gruden wants to get him more involved. Higbee should be nice with Everett out of the picture, and Madison is, you got to have somebody to drop. So, that's all good. I like this team as well. It's tough to find an issue with it. It's a good win now. It's a decent win later.
Drew K. Lou doing some work, doing some damage.
Yeah, Donnie here too. Jacob Bley, our number 1 fan in the 7 spot, takes the number 1 running back, Christian McCaffrey, running back, number 1 by a lot of redraft standards, at least. Joe Burrow is his QB1 in the 2nd round. We hope he recovers well and gets back to throwing 60 times a game in quick fashion. DeAndre Hopkins, Arizona's number 1 wide receiver, number 1 paid wide receiver in the league. Love that man. And George Kittle, he's my favorite tight end. He got hurt last year, but his points per game are real. Devontae Williams, we talked about him being that 2nd rookie running back you'd like to have behind Najee Harris. Ryan Tannehill, Johnny could spend some time talking about how awesome this pick is. It's a good solid pick. Pick. Robert Woods always outperforms his ADP. I don't think this year is any different. Julio Jones is a really nice win now piece. Deshaun Watson, if he plays, you might have gotten a steal. Odell Beckham, I'm excited to see what the resurgence is about. I know there's a lot of doubt out there in the world. I think that's fair. I think there's excitement out the world. Maybe it's a little bit early, maybe it's a little bit fool's goldy, but the man has had a very set of impressive seasons. They've been in the past, but he's still young. He's recovered. We'll see. Fournette, it's kind of a coin toss between him and Ronald Jones, but I like the physicalities of Fournette. Logan Thomas should be a decent, reliable option. A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones re-signing. You don't love it, but Dillon's a real guy. I love the Hardman pick in the 14. This is one of the biggest steals I can see here. I think this is he's in that number 2 role. Sammy Watkins is finally gone. And Mac Jones there. Cool. You got yourself a nice backup there. This is not a bad team. This is a good team. These are all good teams. Jacob Bley,
I was going to say, your trio is pretty good here, Austin.
Yeah, that area was stacked.
These guys are stacked. Jacob Bley, I'm going to process elimination. It's not Jacob Bley's team on this one, just because Christian McCaffrey, I'm a little bit nervous about him, and your quarterbacks are not as sexy as they would need to be for you to jump over the other heat the rest of your class here is bringing. Jacob Bley, Drew K. Lou, and Don Flick. So it's between these two for me. And oh boy, is it close. Oh man, if I'm thinking about who's going to win this year more likely, I think I'm giving it to Drew K. Lou. Has a better shot of winning right now. If I think who's going to have a better shot of winning in 3 years, God, it's so close. Either of you have a strong opinion on Don Flick or Drew K. Lou?
I like Drew K. Lou.
Yeah,
I think the stack with Lamar and Mark Andrews is good. The wide receiving core has got me like salivating here. I think it's all three good. And then Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry. So you managed to get 3 great wide receivers and stack as running back starters. And I think there's good youth all the way around. I mean, Cooper, maybe Thomas is the only one you're worried about age-wise, and they're still relatively young. So
I think Don Flick does have like probably a top 4, top 5 team, but I think Drew.
I've seen Baker do it in the NFL. I haven't seen Lawrence do it yet, which doesn't mean Lawrence won't, but that's kind of.
I'm going to go Drew K. Lou because I know Drew K. Lou's team is a top. At least I'm expecting it to be a top 3 team year one, and I think it has the foundation to be good moving forward. He needs some help in the younger running back department. In future drafts, he'd have to look to that. But I look at Don Flick's floor, and it does make me a little bit nervous. Like there's a world where Trey Sermon is one of 3. There's a world where James Robinson is one of 3. There's a world where DeAndre Swift is one of 3. There's a world where Drake doesn't exist. And there's a world where Ramondre Stevenson is the number 4. And so like, I don't think that's what happens, but the floor is much higher for Drew K. Lou. That ain't going to happen. So I'm giving it to Drew K. Lou for me, but it was very close.
All right. I will round it out here by discussing these last 3 teams. We have Reed Tyler coming in. Appreciate you guys. He's been
trying to get in.
Yeah, he's been trying to get in. He's a butcher. He sends, dude, the stuff he sends of the smoked meat. It's so good. It's yeah. So shout out to Reed Tyler being able to get in the draft today. Appreciate you, man. He took Devontae Adams at the first. His 2 quarterbacks are Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. He also grabbed Danny Dimes late in the draft in the last round. I like that pickup. His running backs are Aaron Jones, Gaskin, Ronald Jones, and Naheem Hines. Okay. All right. I feel that. And then he's got, like I said, his wide receivers. He took Devontae Adams in the first. He's got DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, DJ Chark, Michael Pittman, Jarvis Landry. I love that wide receiver stack there. And then his tight ends are Dallas Goedert and Mike Gesicki. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Dallas Goedert this year and over the next few years. But I really like this team. Well done, Reed Tyler. I think that I really like what I think is going to compete now. And
invested in Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. He's heavily invested in that.
Yeah.
That pans out. Hopefully he does.
The nice thing is wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, he's going to be good. So we do know that. So he's safe with that aspect of it. All right. Cal 38 here in the 9th pick. He took Dalvin Cook. His running backs are Dalvin Cook, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley. Then he grabbed Josh Jacobs, Melvin Gordon later in the 11th. Those are his 4 running backs. His wide receivers are CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, Jerry Jeudy, Tyler Lockett, Terrace Marshall. Okay. Pretty solid wide receivers. And then his tight end is TJ Hawkinson and Evan Ingram, who I really like. I think that those are really solid tight ends. And then his quarterback are Jalen Hurts, Zach Wilson, and Sam Darnold. Interesting quarterbacks there. I do like this team. I don't know if I would put it over Reed Tyler's team, but I do think that this is definitely one of those fun teams that you'd watch. And I give it a thumbs up, dude. All right. Football Ninja. We here at the last spot here to round out this draft, boys. We got Justin Herbert in the first, at the end of the first, then took Najee Harris and CH as his first 2 running backs. I really like that. Paired those running backs with Tony Pollard, Chuba Hubbard, and Gus Bus way late in the 14th. Gotta love that. That's a pretty solid running backs that'll get you at least through this year and next year with the foundation of Najee and CH. Gotta like that. Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, Claypool, Laviska Shenault, and Russell Gage, and then Amon St. Brown are his wide receivers. So those are solid. And then, like I said, Travis Kelce had as his tight end, and then Herbert, Trey Lance, and Ben Roethlisberger as his quarterbacks. This is a solid team. I don't know if it has the ceiling that I would like to see. It's definitely, but I think it'll be a consistent team. But overall, I think in my section, I got to give it up.
This team has a ton of ceiling.
What are you talking about ceiling, man? He's got, how many top fives does he have?
I mean, I know that you don't necessarily you think Herbert has regression, but Herbert does have that ceiling. Like there's definitely the ceiling there for that, right? And then Lance's ceiling huge, the running back ceiling huge, and then Kelsey, of course. Maybe the wide receivers not as much, but Claypool, man, I think has a gigantic ceiling. Yeah, I like that team a lot.
It's not guaranteed.
I do like like I said, I do like the wide receivers.
It's like a boom or bust team.
Yeah. I just think that but overall consistency and as far as ceiling and as high floor, I do think that Reed Tyler takes it away from me.
All right. Reed Tyler, will Whisper Nation let us know who won.
Yeah.
Gotta let us know.
So we got the big who we got. We've got Drew K. Lou, we've got Reed Tyler, and we got Tom Islav.
Yeah.
Look at that. Calvin Brown saying thanks for the thumbs up. Cat's Pajamas.
What's up, Cat's Pajamas? And then we also got Cat's Pajamas saying can't wait for the mock draft marathon. And while we've got Whisper Nation here, if you haven't yet tuned into the mock draft marathon, the end of July, we're going to be starting and doing 24 straight hours of mock drafting. So we'll get our one mock draft done. And then in like 5 minutes or so, we queue up the next one. We bring in a bunch of fellow panelists from around the industry, a lot of great names that you probably recognize from NFL.com, ESPN, Fantasy Pros, wherever it might be. We pull them in from all over the place and do mock drafts, just like how we kind of do them here, where we fill up the room with people from Whisper Nation, but then we co-host along with other members of the industry, and we do it for 24 straight hours. And oh my God, is it fun.
24 straight hours starting on the 24th of July. So make sure everybody marks their calendar. But the easiest way to do that, subscribe and hit the notifications. You'll know exactly when we're going to go.
Yep.
Yeah. On Twitter, on YouTube. Please, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, do so just so we can keep spreading around and connecting with other fellow football fanatics. That's what we love to do. And we got to have more good times ahead. Johnny, anything that we're missing?
No, make sure you guys tune in. We got a really good couple of shows this week. We'll have Jay the Plug on a show for later this week talking about wide receivers that you're not going to want to walk away from your draft from. So that's a spicy show that's coming up. And then we'll have another live show at the end of this week. So make sure you're tuned in.
Only 10 more days to get that draft kit. Get on over to fantasywhispers.com. 10 more days to get it for only $10. 10.
That's Big Travie. There's Johnny Game Time Hicks. I'm Austin Sear. We're the Fantasy Whispers. We're out.
Peace.
Right here.
Oh, you watched the whole video? That's impressive. But if you want to learn how to dominate your draft or win your league, why don't you head on over to the fantasywhispers.com and grab your draft kit today? Or you could click the link in the description below. And if you're still not sold, check out one of these videos.